Hi, Paul Yaffe here, Paul Yaffe's Bagger Nation. Have you ever noticed how tall the fairings are on the 2015 Road Glides? I have to stretch my neck all the way up like this just to see over a low windshield, and I cannot at all see the road in front of me or any obstacles that would be there. I don't know about you, but that really bothers me. So what we created is our new drop block fairing lowering kit for 15 and later Road Glide models. And what I want to do today is I want to show you, one, how easily it installs, and then two, how it drops this fairing a full 2 inches while maintaining full suspension clearance. You actually get to remove these horrible, ugly fairing support brackets. If you want, you can even remove the engine guard after you install our kit, because our kit not only lowers the fairing, it also comes with an internal stealth fairing support bar that supports the fairing like the stock brackets do, but completely in an invisible fashion. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take the fairing off, get to the point where we're ready to install our kit, and then I'll get more in depth into the construction of our kit and what it does. Stay tuned. Okay, so now I'm at the point where I've taken off the necessary components to install the drop block on behind the fairing. So real easy, I just undid the windshield bolts. There's 6 screws that hold the outer fairing on. There's a couple that are hidden underneath the speaker grills, 2 in the back of the fairing, 1 screw on each side where the turn signals are, and the skin that is the outer fairing comes right off. I took out the headlight. 4 more screws take out the audio unit. You just unplug a couple of connectors. You can leave the majority of your main wiring harness in stock. And I got to this point, so I'm ready to pull out the main fairing bolts and drop the fairing. What I did is I put a 4x4 piece of wood right here on top of my protected fender. Once I undid these 4 bolts, I just set the fairing down, rocked it forward. Then I can get access to the main fairing support bracket. Between the inner fairing and the bracket, that's where the drop box slides in. So I've already made my cuts. These are a few little pieces. I'll let Joe zoom in on this when we get there. You're going to cut the feet off the bracket and the little tab, the upper tab off the bracket. Now all this stuff is covered step by step in the instructions. It comes with step-by-step instructions with pictures showing you what to do. It's a very straightforward, it's really a one-man deal. You just have to be a little careful and read the instructions. It's not that big of a deal to install the drop block. So now that I have the drop block installed and bolted in, the fairing is now setting down 2 inches lower than it was. So the next part is installing our stealth fairing support bar. This part slides right up inside the fairing, sits snugly like this. It kind of disappears inside the fairing. I'm going to slide it in here once because I have to mark and drill these 2 mounting holes that mount to the sub chassis of the fairing support. So I'm going to go ahead and install the stealth fairing support bar. And again, this comes with full instructions too, step by step, to install the bar. Very simple, straightforward process. So we're going to install that bar. And then I can reassemble the headlight, put the stereo back in, slip the fairing on, and we'll be done. So check back in a few more minutes and I'll show you where I'm at. Okay, so I've got the stealth fairing support bar installed. It's a very straightforward install. This whole stealth fairing support bar just slips in place and it fits inside the Road Glide fairing and offers all the support you need for the fairing, but invisibly. When the outer fairing goes on, it's going to cover all of this and you won't see any of it. So a couple tips. When you're sliding the bar in, slide it in first, mock it up, put these bottom bolts in, tighten the bracket in place, and then go ahead and drill your 2 holes in the main support chassis. Then you can pop the thing off, clean up the holes. Then when you reinstall it, it helps. I had a little screwdriver in my pocket, so these little, right here, I can pry these open and it makes the bar slide right in to help you to have a little screwdriver. Other than that, don't forget the step in the instructions where they tell you to remove the little rubber bumpers that are inside this hole right here, because that makes sliding the bar in really super easy and you don't need it anymore because our stealth fairing support bar takes up the room where those bumpers were. Other than that, it's a really straightforward deal now that it's installed. So now the drop block is installed, the fairing support bar is installed, everything's solid. The fairing is now lowered 2 inches and completely supported. If you want your fairing support bar these brackets are gone, so now you can take your engine guard off if you want, which is a really cool look. All I've got to do now is bolt the headlight back in, bolt the audio back on, plug it back in, throw the last few parts on, and we'll be good to go. So I'll see you when I'm finished. So now I have finished the installation of the fairing drop block kit and the stealth fairing support bar. I've put back on obviously the outer fairing, windshield, audio, the headlights are reinstalled. I'm just finishing getting this windshield put on. That is the final piece that needs to be put on. I can now remove my paint guards, and now you can see that the fairing has been dropped a full 2 inches with the drop block. It's completely supported with the fairing, with the internal fairing support bar. There's no flex in the fairing. The fairing support brackets that used to bolt to the engine guard are now gone, which are big ugly things that I'm glad are gone. Now I can remove my engine guard if I want and get an even cleaner look. And the most important part of all of this, besides the fact that my bike looks cool, now I can see the road just fine through the windshield. I can see what's in front of me. I've completely dropped that fairing and taken it out of my horizon, which it was totally interrupting my vision. So thanks for watching. It wasn't that big of a deal. Get your fairing drop block for your 15 and later road glide at baggernation.com. Have a great day.